Some people think burnout just means being tired, but the kind of emotional burnout I'm talking about goes much deeper than that. It's the kind where you wake up in the morning and your body already feels heavy, your chest feels tight and your mind feels foggy. There's this strange pressure sitting inside you that you can't quite explain, almost like your heart and your mind are pulling in opposite directions. One part of you is trying to stay strong, to keep functioning and keep everything together the way you always have, and the other part feels like it's collapsing under the weight of everything you've been carrying. Not just physically, emotionally, mentally, even spiritually. When you're in that state, you ask yourself a question that many people never say out loud. Why do I feel like this when I'm trying so hard just to keep going? Real emotional burnout doesn't always come from one big moment. It builds slowly over months, sometimes years. It comes from constantly pushing through things that hurt you, holding emotions in because you don't want to create conflict, and carrying responsibilities without letting yourself stop. It comes from being the one who always adapts, always keeps the peace, and the one who keeps showing up even when you're already exhausted. People see the strength. What they don't see is the cost. A lot of people who experience emotional burnout are the ones who have been strong for everyone else. But strength without rest eventually turns into exhaustion, and sometimes the most powerful thing you can do isn't pushing harder, it's allowing yourself to pause without guilt. When emotional burnout hits deeply, it doesn't just live in your mind, your body feels it too. Your chest can ache in a way that almost feels like heartbreak. Your shoulders feel heavy. Your energy disappears even after resting. You wake up tired even after sleeping. Simple things start to feel overwhelming. Conversations take effort, and even things you once loved feel distant. Not because you stopped caring, but because your emotional system has been under pressure for so long that it's finally asking for relief. When your mind is exhausted like that, it starts looping thoughts over and over, trying to make sense of things, trying to understand people, situations, and why certain things happened the way they did. Your mind keeps searching for clarity while your heart is still carrying the emotional weight of everything that led you there. That push and pull between the heart and the mind can feel incredibly confusing. Your mind tries to stay logical. It tells you to keep moving forward, to stay strong, to focus on solutions, but your heart is still processing disappointment, betrayal, and moments where things didn't unfold the way you believed they would. So inside you, there's this constant internal dialogue. Your mind is trying to stay composed, your emotions are asking to finally be felt, and your body is sitting right in the middle of that tension, feeling every ounce of it. I've experienced that kind of burnout more than once. There were times where I could feel the emotional weight building over time, from carrying responsibilities, navigating difficult relationships, and trying to keep moving forward even when certain situations had hurt me more deeply than I allowed myself to admit. And from the outside, it probably looked like I was handling everything just fine. But inside, there were moments where my mind was racing with thoughts while my body felt like it was shutting down from exhaustion. I felt emotionally drained in a way that sleep couldn't fix. I constantly questioned myself where I replayed things in my mind trying to understand them. I tried to make sense of why certain things had unfolded the way they did, and that kind of internal processing can be incredibly heavy when you're carrying it alone. Burnout isn't always about doing too much physically. A lot of the time it comes from carrying too much emotionally. Years of responsibility, suppressing feelings because you didn't feel safe expressing them, constant self-pressure to be strong, disappointments that were never fully processed, and relationships that drained more from you than they gave back. Times where you gave your loyalty, your energy and your heart, eventually realizing it wasn't being valued the way you hoped it would be. All that emotional weight builds quietly until one day your mind and your body simply say, "I can't keep carrying this anymore." And one of the hardest parts about emotional burnout is that people often don't recognize it because you still look like yourself. You still show up, you function, and you still appear completely capable. The world continues, expecting the same strength from you, even when inside you feel like you're barely holding everything together. Emotional burnout is one of those things that people only truly understand when they felt it themselves, and that experience can make you feel incredibly lonely. If you're going through emotional burnout right now, you don't have to explain your story, but you can simply write in the comments, "I understand this feeling," so others know they're not alone. But here's something important I've come to understand about burnout. It's not just exhaustion, sometimes it's awareness. Awareness of what you've been carrying, of what hasn't been healthy for you, or awareness that certain patterns, people, or expectations have taken more from you than they should have. Burnout can be the moment where your system finally stops ignoring what your heart has been trying to tell you for a long time. I want you to hear something clearly. Feeling emotionally burnt out doesn't mean you're broken or that you've failed. It simply means your mind and your heart have been carrying too much for too long, and now they're asking you to slow down. Not forever, just long enough to breathe again. Right now it might feel like you've lost yourself in all this, but you haven't. You're still there underneath the exhaustion, and the moment you stop pushing and start giving yourself a little space, you'll feel it, because you're not gone, you're just worn down. So if you've been feeling emotionally burnt out lately, if your mind feels overwhelmed, your heart feels heavy, and your body feels like it's carrying more weight than it should, please hear this. You're not weak for feeling this way. You're a human being whose mind and heart have been trying to process more than most people realize and know how to cope with. And the fact that you're still here, still trying to understand yourself and move forward, means there is far more strength inside you than exhaustion could ever take away. At some point, you have to be honest with yourself. You're not just tired, you're drained from constantly pushing through things that have never felt right to begin with, and no amount of strength can fix that. This isn't just exhaustion, it's what happens when you ignore yourself for too long. And the truth is, your body doesn't break down to hurt you, it breaks down to stop you from continuing in a way that's slowly wearing you down. Something has to change, not because you're weak, but because you've carried enough. Thank you for staying and listening. If this conversation resonated with you, you might also want to check out my other videos. If you'd like to support this space, you can like, comment and subscribe. It genuinely helps us reach other people who might be sitting with the same questions. If you enjoy my content and would like to support the channel, you can leave a little tip via the PayPal link in the description. And if you want to be here for the next conversation, you can turn on notifications. Your support doesn't just help the channel grow, it reminds me that I'm not the only one thinking about these things quietly. And that matters more than you know. Sending you all so much love. Until next time, keep becoming.